Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello everybody, welcome to our Product Owner TGIF episode, and of course Friday with Michael Schmidt. Hey Michael, welcome back.
Hi Vasco, thank God it's Friday.
TGIF, indeed, yes. Indeed. Yes. So we'll talk about what great product owners look and sound like in a minute. But before that, Michael, share with us the worst product owner anti-pattern you've ever witnessed in your career.
Yeah. I have seen product owners growing and others faltering. So even people who are starting good can create a toxic environment, even as a product owner. The worst product owner behavior that I ever saw was someone who was very, very impressed by their own skills. So they actually said to me, Michael, I have written several thousand user stories. I don't care about your coaching. I can do that on my own. I can write you 20 user stories in 10 minutes. I said, oh, wow, that's very impressive. Can you show me, please? No, because of course the person could not.
No human could, in all fairness.
Yeah. And
ChatGPT could probably do that, though.
Yeah. And that product owning person was describing so few information, so little information on their so-called user stories, that the luck was that there was a team that was like guessing what should be the product idea of that user story. What benefit should it create? What value would it need? And so on. And by that behavior of the team compensating for very bad product owner behavior, made the feelings of the product owner like, I am the best product owner in the world. I can write hundreds of user stories a day and the team will always deliver. And the worst thing, was additionally, there was a worst thing that I ever noticed, because someone being so bad in the job and flat out rejecting any help. Michael, I don't need your help. I know how to write user stories. That was like, I didn't have any chance of getting into that. So if someone rejects your help, what can you do then? It was toxic behavior. My solution for that moment was that I went to the other agile coach that was there with me, said, what do we do with it? Yeah, just address that again. And if they don't like your help, then you can't do that. In the meantime, that product owner was like smelling the danger of being called out and went to the organizational manager and said, yeah, this Michael, I don't know if he's a really good agile coach because he always tells people that I can't write user stories, and this is not true. And the manager was just balancing out how important this person is for the organization and how important the agile coach is. And he said, I have 2 agile coaches and only 1 product manager for that product. And so he said, Michael, you better not interfere with their team anymore. So he was even then undermining my approach to help there. And that was like leaving me speechless. That was the worst behavior that I ever noticed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm still feeling the pain now. It's 10 years ago.
And one thing to note here is that it is true, as we've discussed also before, I think it was on the Monday episode, that, of course, we need to be aware that our help will not be accepted everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay. Then it's up to us to decide, do we want to continue or not? Do we want to stay or not? But we definitely need to be aware that our help may not be accepted because the problem isn't recognized. There's one possibility.
Yeah.
Or maybe there isn't any chemistry between us and the other person. And that's also a very human thing. So if you had to go back and play that story all over again, Michael, what would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently? I think I would emphasize more that one product owner hour is cheaper than one team hour. No matter the daily rate, but 5 people thinking about what is the meaning of this thing, this issue item, backlog item, is not worth or is worth more than having one product owner thinking about the idea once more. So that's why I invented, or I did this on my own, the so-called Michael check. So I offered product owners my focus time for, you could read me your user stories, and if I understand what it is good for, then I promise you every developer will always understand what it's good for, because they are developing software, I am not. So if you can tell me what the benefit of that story is, I'm already fully okay. And please don't tell me any technical details, because they don't belong to a user story. This was my approach. So with that, still that toxic environment and that situation would not have been resolved, but at least it would have given me another approach. How much time are we wasting by team trying to find out what the user story is good for, instead of preparing it for 1 hour more? Because we don't need 100 user stories. Just write your ideas and work on the 5 best ones. So I would guide way more in focus on the right things at the right time and creating that safe environment. To be honest, maybe that person felt a bit insecure again about, if I don't produce so many user stories, they won't think I'm the best one or something like that. So creating that safe environment is also a point.
Yeah, and definitely when somebody spends time praising their own skills, that's already a defensive behavior of sorts. So pay attention to that. But of course, Michael, there are some great POs out there, and you've worked with some. So describe for us the best product owner that you've ever worked with. How did they work?
Yeah. I still get goosebumps when I think about that person, because the development of that person was so great. It was one product manager converting into a team product owner. So being in that role for the first time, working directly with a team. And it was at the Deutsche Post. We had gathered some of the best crypto specialists in the area to build some serious browser-based encryption solutions. Really far-edged stuff. And the dedicated product owner was at some point shaking, because the person said, I have no clue how this encryption will work. I can only describe how it should look like and what the function will be and so on. What if they ask me anything technical? And at one point, after some weeks of coaching from the back and supporting and giving personal support and so on, at one point, with a bit of coaching, she got those questions from one of the crypto specialists after being presented a user story. The crypto specialist said, how should this work? It's way too complex. And then that product owning person said, I think you can offer me a solution. I don't care how actually you do this, but I promise you the value is worth it. And at that point, the developer said, yeah, you're completely right. It's my role of bringing you the solution, the idea, the solution part. You describe the problem, I give you the solution. That's okay. And at that point, she was settled in the role forever. So she got the respect from the team, she got the credibility, and she was defining her role in that situation, in that team, and was totally safe. That was the greatest development of product owning persons that I ever saw.
And this is an important step, a growth step for also for us, but of course, most importantly for product owners, which is we don't need to know all the answers. Yeah. Software product development is a team sport.
Yeah,
you can come in with a question and say, hey, this is how it would look like. This is why it's important. I have no idea how to bring this to the product. We can make changes if you think that it can be done in an easier, more valuable, more value delivering way. But how can we do it? Right? I've done this part, which is to understand what the customers need and how that could be presented. But how is it implemented? I don't know. How could we do it?
Yeah. That team effort thing was really in the center of this person's work. And the team was gathering around the product owning person there. So it was the perfect balance of the role focus of each and every person in the team. And that was really the greatest thing that I ever saw with a product owner. Yeah.
Absolutely. A great story, Michael. Thank you for that. We're getting close to the end. But before we go, Michael, where would people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Let's say I'm in Berlin and you will find me. We have only 4 million Berliners, some of them being agile coaches. No, actually, I'm on LinkedIn. That's completely okay to get in touch. I always love meeting new people, and I'm always open for lively discussions and even some opinions that are not fully mine. Sometimes I can bear that.
That's a good addition. So everybody out there, why not reach out to Michael on LinkedIn and ask him a few follow-up questions? I'm sure you have quite a few. Michael, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for sharing so much with us and for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Oh, what a nice chat. Thank you so much, Vasco. Thank you very much.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast host, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. So join us at scrummasterpodcast.com and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more full week of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.